So I covered pretty well on the subreddit how to deal with a conflict that may arise, just sort of with people in general. And sort of what I discussed in that post is how, we don't necessarily need to win an argument. We can, we determine we're dealing with an unsafe person. Like, we can just back on right out of that. But sometimes we gotta win an argument. I'm not sure how detailed I should get. Sometimes I feel like the examples are not helpful because if you can't read yourself into the situation, but it's harder to explain it without explaining it. So I'm gonna try. So my child's father and I are co-parents. We're very amicable. It's a really great situation. When he was ill, and I thought, oh no, my son needs more memories with his dad because he might die. We switched custody. I moved out of the house. Dad moved in. I got an apartment. I got it set up. And so things have been kind of trucking along so far. But Dad's been dating all this time. Nobody serious until very recently, which is great. I absolutely want everybody to be happy and living their best lives and stuff. But what had happened was, he started bringing this girl around our son to our home a week in. And, I have no idea if she is a nice or trustworthy or good person or anything. There's no foundation because it's literally only been a week that they have been dating, talking, communicating. So I walk in and this lady is in the house with my kid during a pandemic. Oh no. So I had a conversation with my child's father and I said, hey, listen, I'm super glad that you were dating this person. I totally want to support that, but let's wait a little bit longer. So we introduce her to our kid, have her in the house with our stuff and financial documents and checkbooks and things. And he seemed to agree, and so that was fine. And then very recently, so we're now 3 weeks into it, and she shows up at the house again. She's at the house. They were supposed to have a date, and I ended up having to go to the urgent care. I was having something, apparently a transitory migraine. Anyway, not the point. So I leave, and she's there, and I'm sitting here what is happening? Why are we moving so quickly? We kind of discussed this, So I get there and I start talking to them. And Dad is no, this is totally reasonable. Everything's fine. We're not doing anything wrong. And she is I'm not going to let you come at me. And I could just feel it ooh, this is not going to go in a good direction. And it's let's just nip that in the bud. Let's not even give anybody an opportunity to get ramped up. And what I did was, I called my friend. And I said, listen, this is a situation. Do you mind if I put you on speaker so that you can just hear what's happening? And that is what I did. So it went from, the tone very much changed. Suddenly, it was, well, let's talk about what's reasonable. And, certain people weren't feeling defensive. And for some reason, thinking they needed to defend themselves when they're literally 3 weeks into, I can't eat this. I don't have an explanation for why anybody thought that this was a situation that was cool. I was just so baffled. But I gotta tell you, getting my friend on the phone, making sure there was a third-party witness to this situation and the conversation so that people weren't being unreasonable, that they weren't being confrontational, that they were gonna okay, no, there's somebody else watching this. What would they think? And that really pulled a lot of the issue out of that conversation. And suddenly we were having a different dynamic where people were actually listening to me. It's So generally speaking, you know, in terms of the subreddit, in terms of the videos, I often talk about, you know, how like we don't have to be right. And a lot of the context for that is, you know, if you're in a situation with like a partner, and they're maybe unsafe or not, maybe they're abusive, or you're dealing with like a friend, or, you know, something where you don't have to be right. Like if you need to like exit the conversation, if you need things to be safe. But in this particular instance, I did not feel that was an option, because at this point I feel like I'm advocating for my child. You know, so it's coming at that from a different perspective. It's like, oh no, this is not, you guys gotta wait. Like, I'm not saying forever, but longer than a week, longer than 3 weeks, you know. And also, oh, what's that meme? The sheer fucking audacity of this lady at 3 weeks coming into my home. My name's on the deed and the mortgage, where my child lives, thinking that she can like talk to me about some stuff. Like, girl, no, what are you doing? Why do you feel like any entitlement in this situation? I'm just like, my mind is blown. I was like, I'm in the twilight zone. I don't understand any choices anyone is making right now. So yeah, usually, you know, my advice is to back out. You know, we don't need to engage. But if you gotta engage, and you're engaging with people who are maybe not, they're more interested in justifying that they're right, you know, then maybe it's time to bring in like a third party, neutral person, because then everyone will be on their better behavior. And it creates more opportunities to not be hurtful, and to, you know, people know what's reasonable. Like, I mean, just the shift in the dynamic was like incredibly distinct. They were arguing with me, right? She was coming at me. He was telling me it was reasonable. And like that suddenly changed when we brought in a third person. You know, on some level they knew. They knew it would look bad. You know, and I did point blank tell him, like, you find me one person that we know and respect that is going to be okay with this. I dare you, ask your nieces, ask your dad, ask your family, ask your mutual friends, ask anybody. If you can find one person that thinks this is cool, I will reconsider. And you know what? He did not take me up on that offer, because he knows. He's like so busy. I'm right. But as soon as we brought that third neutral party in, as soon as I said, hey, you know, find me somebody who'll agree with you. And, you know, that kind of nipped that in the bud. He also, and I do want to like acknowledge, he did also later on say, you know, I'm really sorry I messed up. Because we don't need drama. We don't need drama around our kids. We grown. This is high school nonsense. Like, you don't bring this lady around yet. What are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, I was like heated. Just like, again, the sheer fucking audacity. What? So if you find yourself in a situation where you need to protect yourself or another person, you do not have to sit, like, you know, a lot of these dumb, overpowering, even abusive conversations, they happen in privacy, in private. I do remember with my ex, there was one time that I just got out my phone and started recording, and he got so mad. He physically was ripping the phone out of my hand. On some level, they know it looks bad. They know what they're doing is not right. So as much as he tries to, you know, with the ex, as much as he would try and justify like that, you know, it's all me and I'm doing something wrong and da-da-da-da-da, you know, he got real, he got real bent out of shape, real physically aggressive when I started recording, when I got on my phone. Like, I don't mind being recorded, you know. You can record our conversations all day long. Now, do you want to be recorded? That's the question. So, you know, a way to sidestep some nonsense, you know, document, bring in a third neutral party, Don't let shit stay hidden. Just because they want to keep it private doesn't mean we need to. When it comes to my child, homegirl, don't play. Like, I will, what's that phrase? Take it to the mattresses. Like, and not in a mean way, but like this, you know, guys, we gotta be safe. And it is my job as a parent to make sure that happens. And I honestly should not be in on that by myself. Like that, nothing about that situation made any sense to me. It's just people really excited about dating and for some reason think that some new lady's got any say. You're like, you need to be around longer than 3 weeks before you got say. Hopefully this made sense. You don't have to do it alone. I'll talk to you next time.